Alright, I'm most excited just to get there. We've been sitting in the Indy airport for like 5 hours waiting on the lavatory to get fixed on our plane.
My favorite part of the trip would have to be the glowworm cave, where you get to jump off waterfalls within the cave and look up at what seemed like the night sky and see constellations of the glowworms up above.
So in Rotorua, we went to the Maori Cultural Center, and it was really interesting because I'd never seen any type of tribal culture before.
I would have to say my favorite part of the trip was going to White Island, seeing the active volcano.
As we're driving through Volcano National Park on the North Island of New Zealand, we were excited to be able to see the active vent of Tamari on the north flanks of Mount Tongariro. And that volcano had just erupted in August and again in November of 2012. So there's some apprehension of the volcano actually being active and possibly erupting again, but then again the excitement of being able to see an active volcano just like we saw at White Island.
It was a great experience, and being able to run out in like another country was pretty cool too, and seeing just gorgeous land.
New Zealand's 2 islands, and since we wanted to go to both of them to see different geologic features, we had to take a boat between them. It's too long to do a bridge, and flying wasn't really all that convenient for us.
The hike up Dunn Mountain was really fun, even though the weather was terrible, and I forgot my rain jacket, but we got to see some really old oceanic crust.
I'm going to remember everything because I journaled about it.
It's definitely really interesting being able to get to the Fox Glacier and the Franz Josef Glacier, and I hadn't ever seen a glacier or been around anything before. Obviously we get to study it a lot in classes, but just to get to see how massive they were and get to know about the principles, the reasons why they're retreating like they are, but it was super beautiful.
There's lots of pictures around at the visitor center.
The hike up to the plate boundary was really fun, but it was also really wet because Tim took us through the braided streams on a death march instead of on the trail.
Well, traveling in the buses was pretty cool. There were giant yellow things that kept about 11 people occupied inside at one time, and we'd spend hours and hours a day in these buses traveling around and driving. So in all the close quarters we had all of our groceries, all of our bags and everything, and it was pretty cool though because we got to see a lot of New Zealand, and we drove all the way up and down the North and South Island, so it was pretty cool stuff.
My favorite part was developing relationships with other DePauw students in a foreign country where we bonded over eating meat pies, eating kiwis, seeing kiwis, and paying way too much for everything.
favorite part of the trip was traveling to the black sand beaches formed from magnetite.
One of the last things we did was spend the day at Three Sisters Beach. It was really cool to see a black sand beach, and it was a nice change of pace.
If I were to describe the trip in one word, there's so many, but I guess in general I just have to say exciting.